Hello, everyone. I'm Ted Everingham, a proud alumnus of Albion College, class of 1961. It's been a long time, but what a great time. What a great time. It's my privilege to serve on the Albion College Alumni Board and to host these Briton conversations where we visit for a while with people who are maybe students, more likely alums, people who've done great things and are doing interesting things and carrying forward the tradition of scholarship and service that is Albion College. I'm pleased today to introduce you to Mayor Vicky Garcia Snyder, Mayor of the City of Albion, and the class of 1989.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Do I have that right?
Yep.
Now, I hope you won't think it disrespectful if I call you Vicky instead of Madam Mayor.
That is totally fine.
Okay. Vicky, you're a lifelong resident of Albion.
Yes, I am.
As I said, a graduate of the college, and now you're mayor.
Yes.
That must be a huge thrill.
It is. It's more of an honor to be able to serve my community in this capacity. I've had a yearning to be more civically engaged, in the past few years. But as a mother of three, I found that my hands were kind of full with chasing after kids and having a full-time job as well. So I didn't want to take on this type of endeavor and not be able to give 100% of my true time and commitment. So I waited till all of my little birds have flown the nest and I threw my hat in the ring, and lo and behold, I had the great fortune of getting elected in.
So let's go back to Albion. You went to the college and you graduated in 89. What was your degree? What was your study, your area of study?
Actually, my official degree was physical education.
Really?
That was before sports medicine was its own major. I did pursue sports medicine as a student, but it fell under that umbrella of physical education. So, yeah.
Okay, and so did you practice in that area? Was that your career?
No, actually, I also had a degree, a minor in psychology. And as I was going through, sports medicine, I was encouraged to also get an education degree. So that was something else that I kind of added on top of everything else. So I graduated with an education degree, started working in the public school systems right after graduation. Still was able to help out high school athletes with any type of sports related injury. So that was nice. But education kind of became my focus after graduating from college.
Are you still teaching now? I don't remember whether you have a mayor manager form of government or is a full-time job or
No,
or
so
what?
yeah, being mayor is not a full-time job
Okay.
for me. Our city manager
Okay.
runs the day-to-day operations of our community. So I am the assistant director of admissions at Jackson College, and I've been there for 7 years.
Oh, well, congratulations. I know that place too.
Yeah.
I grew up in Jackson.
Yeah, I had heard that. So I'm like, oh yeah, yep, yeah, in the neighborhood. But no,
I grew
I've
up
been in higher education for over 20 years. So
Oh, I haven't. Well, good for you. We actually, when we could, before pandemic, we would go out to Jackson for the Michigan Shakespeare Festival.
Yep.
There on that lovely theater on your campus. It's really grand. So what are the challenges you see? What are the opportunities you see as mayor of Albion 2021?
So the challenges, and I guess when it relates to our campus, still continuing on with building the relationships of the town gown. There's still, some animosity, between the community and the town, just because right now with all the growth we have going on in the community, there is that perception that, the college community is trying to take over. And it's not the case, but there's still that perception out there. And so just trying to kind of make it more transparent of what the goals are and how it can truly be a win-win for both, the college community, but the community of Albion at large. Just working in collaboration to making sure that the voices of our community members are being heard. That's one of the standpoints that I kind of ran my campaign on, that I am like a lifelong resident of the community. I know our pockets of populations, and I know that there are certain populations that don't feel like they've been heard over the past few years. So I really wanted to be that person to make sure that, yet the voice of the community is being heard along with the needs of our campus community, and being able to bring them together to have that true understanding that this is what's going on right now. It's the best for both worlds. So that is a challenge, trying, especially as you said, in the world of COVID, being able to communicate that effectively. There's so many folks that don't have social media, that don't have reliable internet, and how do you communicate with them other than the newspaper articles? So, just that's one of our challenges.
It's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Because I'm an alum and never, except when I was in college there, never lived in the community, I was aware of some of those tensions. That was a long time ago, and they've continued all of these years until really quite recently. There's been a very concerted and conscious effort on the part, at least of the college, I think, to hold out the hand, to build a collaboration. And I can see, I hadn't thought about it before, I can see how that would be with the citizenry, an educational challenge to make it clear what you're trying to do. You're not taking over their community.
Exactly.
You're trying to, and some of the things that are going on, for example, at Washington Gardner High School, the old Washington, beautiful building, by the way. As I understand it, the plan is to make that both a college and a community center of activity. Yep. And that seems to me very healthy.
Yeah. And the junior high, that place has a strong hold on my heart. You've been in it, the architecture, the beautiful woodwork, the hallways, and before the school district closed, there was a lot of money invested into that theater. That theater is gorgeous.
Yes.
And I know that the college is going to make great use out of that. But yeah, that middle school holds a stronghold on my heart, and I'm so glad that it is being utilized, because it is a beautiful building.
Well, it's a gorgeous building, and I think of it still as a high school, because it was, when I was on campus, it was the high school.
Yeah.
And Washington Gardner, I've got contemporaries, still friends of mine in different parts of the country that I came to know over the years, who were graduates of the high school. My wife grew up down the road in Marshall, so I know about that. And I used to do basketball and football broadcasts for the high schools in those days. So I remember that school fondly, and I was so happy when the college stepped up and saved it from what ultimately probably would have been a wrecking ball or just years of decay. Yeah. So now you have at least one child, you mentioned three, at least one who was an Albion graduate.
Yes, yep. My oldest daughter, Rebecca, she graduated from Albion in 2014. And I can't remember how many years ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, she was actually awarded Young Alumni, Distinguished Young Alumni.
2 years ago, it's 2019. Okay, yeah. I looked it up. She had a remarkable job. She was a victim advocate in the office of the Michigan Attorney General.
Yep, she still is. She's still there. Yep.
And during a very busy time with the Larry Nassar problem.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about the other two?
So my second daughter, Isabel, she is a graduate of Albion College. She was an actuarial science major there, and she's been working in the insurance industry. Both she and Rebecca are getting married this year.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so they were able to place that burden and stress on me, new mayor. Okay, let's plan 2 weddings. Sure, why not? But no, they're both doing great. And then I have a son named Raymond, who is 19, not a fan of online learning. So he's taking some time off from college to and wait until things kind of settle back into normalcy.
I understand that. I have a 19-year-old grandson who's going to go ahead and start his freshman year in the fall.
Mhm.
But he is excited because his school district is starting to go back to a hybrid system for this last trimester. And he's looking forward to, 2 days out of 5 being in school with friends. And I can understand that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's got to be a real challenge.
Yeah.
Jackson College has gone through the trauma of the pandemic as well, I'm sure.
Yep. And actually it was, so since last March, we've been working remotely. Only a skeleton crew is on campus to kind of keep the day-to-day operations going. But early on, President Phelan, and I'm not sure if you met him yet, but he had the foresight to know that more than likely we would not be back until this coming fall. So he made sure that all the employees had the technology, the means to be able to work remotely, the faculty members to be able to teach effectively. We do have a small handful of face-to-face classes, the science, the allied health programs that need, the on-campus, hands-on type of things. But other than that, we were to do everything else remotely, and so far, so good. So everything's going well.
I'm glad. It's been a real challenge.
Yeah.
Watched it here we're empty nesters now, but we have 5 grandchildren. And we've watched 2 are in college, 1 is out of college, 3 are in college. And the last one is the one who's going off to school in the fall. And it's been terribly difficult, terribly difficult.
And it's a challenge. I mean, students are realizing that the online coursework is just not for them. They really do need to have that social interaction, being able to ask questions of a faculty member, being able to get that engagement and dialogue, because for me as an educator, I truly believe that's how most students retain, is being able to have the dialogue to discuss. You can't grasp the concept of it all by just reading it and hoping it'll stay. When somebody makes you think about what you're saying, that's when you truly retain the information.
Well, I've been very pleased watching our alma mater, Albion College, with getting its people back on campus as much as they possibly can, and working very hard to make this as meaningful as possible. And I think it's quite effective. Certainly, my time in college that interaction was just so critical. Learning to think critically.
Right? Yes, exactly. To being challenged to your thoughts and beliefs. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. So with your physical education major and your kind of liberal arts background, now you're in higher education. How do you feel Albion prepared you for the real world?
Well, kind of doing some introspective of my experience there, I think I learned more outside of the classroom. That's just something that we know that's great about the liberal arts education. Having the opportunities to sit and talk with people that are different than yourself, understanding that they have a different perspective than you. They believe they're right, you believe you're right, and you got to come to that common understanding of acceptance. That's okay. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because you don't believe how I believe. That is growth. And I totally believe that I learned that at Albion College. as a minority student, that was a challenge. And being able to understand that we all come from different walks. We have different religions, we have different value system, but we're all the same. And so you have to take that and understand this is something that you're going to deal with the rest of your life. And as an adult, you need to come to terms with that and still work with folks to be effective.
Exactly. And with the emphasis now at Albion on diversity, inclusion, belonging, I applaud that. It's much different than when I was on campus. Yeah. Very, very different. Yeah. And I'm so pleased because the lessons you learned were not as easily learned in my day. Because we all kind of looked alike and worshiped alike and all that. And so I'm grateful that our college is making a real effort, has made a real effort. Yes. It's wonderful.
And placed great value on that. Yeah. I just recently wrote a letter to the inaugural group of TRIO. TRIO is a support system, but that's not something that I would have ever imagined we would have had at any given time when I was a student there. The number of students of color on campus was in the single digits, when it came to percentage rate. And then, one of my first professional jobs on campus was in the multicultural office. And so working with students who want to see that immediate change because they're so passionate, I'm just like, it'll come in time. You may not see that change until after you graduate, but know that you're creating the foundation for change to come. And that's definitely has been something that we've been building up to. And I'm so happy to see the number of students that are more reflective of our community and our global community as well.
Oh, absolutely. You spoke in single digit percentages. When I was on campus, it was single digit absolute numbers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I worried about that for a long time because, my diversity, the diversity then was whether you came from Grosse Pointe or Bloomfield or one of the more wealthy, affluent communities, or like me from the wrong side of the tracks in Jackson, Michigan. It was valuable. Yeah. Very valuable. Yeah. But it has to be just a gold mine now. I'm so grateful. And I'm so happy that you're mayor.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I was hoping that you would tell me that the challenges were making this collaborative effort real from both sides. And kind of that's what you said.
Yeah. And it's a work in progress. I'm not expecting to see change either. I'm a person of my word. I know it's going to take time. It's going to take time to put the minds of the community members at ease that it's just going to work out for the best for all. We've all been hearing the challenges that the college has in regards to recruiting because the number of students graduating from Michigan high schools are decreasing, but that's been decades coming. Like I said, I've been in higher ed for 20 years, and that's something that it's a continual. We need to make some decisions that are going to be able to keep the doors open at the college, along with keep things going for the community at large. And so, like I said, we really just need to work on that win-win situation.
Well, I'm confident that you will. Yeah. And I thank you for doing that. We've been talking to Vicky Snyder, class of 1989, and since last fall, the mayor of the city of Albion. And higher education, lifelong Albion resident, doing all the right things to make the community, the greater Albion community, the town and gown, really succeed. Thank you for that.
And thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Here's the deal. My pleasure. Here's the deal. Assuming the pandemic protocols will allow it, I will be on campus when we have commencement in early May. I hope you'll be in town and that we can use the offices of the college, maybe some of the IA people, or just email. to arrange a chance where we could meet each other first face to face. I'd like that.
That is wonderful. Yeah, I do try to get to commencement every year. The only time that pulls me away is if the kids have something else going on, but any other year I'm there on campus on the quad watching commencement.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Thanks very much for being with us.
thank you.